Alright, folks. Ever stop to think if anything you see is actually, well, real? For many of us, those with hearts as delicate as a butterfly's wing and eyes that well up at the slightest hint of emotion, a profound question often lingers. Am I simply a sensitive human being, deeply affected by the world around me? Or am I perhaps a cosmic antenna, constantly receiving the myriad waves of emotion and spiritual energy that permeate the universe? Is it just a kind heart, or do I possess untapped, extraordinary abilities? Today, we embark on an exploration of this very conundrum. We shall delve into the realms of both reality and imagination, adding a dash of delightful madness to decipher the distinction between a tear triggered by a poignant moment and an inexplicable feeling that seems to originate from nowhere. Emotional sensitivity and its origins. In the tangible world, the roots of emotional sensitivity are deeply embedded in our biological and psychological makeup. Scientific research suggests that there are genuine differences in how the brains of highly sensitive individuals process emotions. Certain brain regions exhibit heightened activity when exposed to emotional stimuli, as if the volume knob for feelings is turned up a notch higher in their minds. Imagine having a radio receiver where you perceive every nuance and whisper of a broadcast that others barely register. Furthermore, our formative experiences during childhood play a pivotal role in shaping our sensitivity. Growing up in an environment where emotions are acknowledged and valued fosters a healthy sense of sensitivity. Conversely, experiencing neglect or harshness can amplify sensitivity as a defense mechanism or an unconscious quest for the attention that was lacking. Even our genetic inheritance can influence the degree of our sensitivity, as if we've inherited a unique sensitivity dial from our ancestors. The wild imagination. Now, let your imagination soar. Picture the highly sensitive person not merely as an ordinary human, but as possessing an incredibly advanced emotional radar, akin to the sonar used by submarines to navigate the depths of the ocean. This radar can detect subtle emotional frequencies that others miss. It's as if they have finely tuned spiritual antennae that pick up the vibrations of joy, sorrow, anxiety, and fear swirling around us like radio waves. They might be strolling down a bustling street, feeling perfectly content, when suddenly a wave of inexplicable unease washes over them, only to later discover that someone nearby is experiencing profound distress. The utterly mad. Could it be that heightened sensitivity is a rare genetic mutation occurring every few millennia, bestowing upon individuals rudimentary telepathic abilities? A kind of emotional Wi-Fi constantly scanning the feelings of those around them without a single word being spoken. Or perhaps it's a vestige of a sixth sense possessed by our ancient ancestors, who relied on strong intuition for survival in the wilderness, a sense that has diminished with civilization but lingers more strongly in certain individuals. So, emotional sensitivity is anchored in both the realities explored by psychology and the boundless realms of imagination, potentially even holding the key to latent abilities yet to be uncovered by science. This leads us to the crucial question: is sensitivity a weakness or a strength? The answer isn't a simple black or white, like the stripes of a zebra. In reality, sensitivity is a double-edged sword. Some might perceive it as a weakness, as it can leave individuals easily affected and emotionally drained by the slightest criticism or negative encounter. It's as if their skin is so thin that any friction causes pain. However, sensitivity can also be an extraordinary strength. Highly sensitive people often possess a greater capacity for empathy, deeply understanding the emotions of others, which enriches their relationships and makes them more compassionate friends and partners. Imagine having an emotional sensor that allows you to intuitively know when a friend needs a kind word or when your partner is upset without them having to say anything. Isn't that a superpower in its own right? Flights of fancy. Let's imagine sensitivity as an emotional shield that absorbs the negative emotions of others to protect them, but this shield requires constant maintenance and cleansing to prevent it from becoming overwhelmed and transferring that negativity. Or perhaps it's an internal compass guiding individuals toward paths of kindness and spiritual well-being, steering them away from toxic relationships and emotionally draining situations. The brink of insanity. Could heightened sensitivity be a form of cosmic protection, granting individuals the ability to sense emotional danger before it even materializes? an early warning system for negative feelings, allowing them to take precautions and avoid emotional harm. However, there's a razor-thin line between genuine sensitivity and mere exaggeration. How do we distinguish between the two? Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another while maintaining a connection to your own reality and emotions. It's like standing on a bridge connecting your heart to another's, allowing you to cross over to understand them but always returning to your own. Exaggeration, on the other hand, is drowning in another's emotions to the point of losing yourself and living out their drama as if it were your own. It's like falling off that bridge and being swept away by the tide of their feelings. Empathy is a gentle light illuminating the path to understanding, while exaggeration is a consuming fire that burns both you and the other person. Perhaps exaggeration is a kind of emotional virus that spreads between people, leaving everyone feeling miserable and gloomy, while empathy is the antidote that fights this virus and helps everyone maintain their emotional well-being. So, how do we understand our own emotions without turning them into a melodramatic Bollywood film? Reality offers several practical approaches. Firstly, journaling allows you to write down your feelings and their triggers, helping you to see the situation more clearly and rationally. Secondly, mindfulness and meditation teach you to observe your emotions without immediately reacting to them. And thirdly, talking to a professional can provide you with tools and strategies for understanding and managing your emotions in a healthy way. The key is to remember that emotions are merely information, not commands. Imagine your feelings as messages delivered by your inner mail carrier. Your task is to open and understand the message, not to be terrified by the sound of the doorbell and live in fear. Or perhaps they are like colors painting the canvas of your life, and you need to understand the significance of each hue rather than letting the entire painting be a single shade of despair just because you felt a moment of sadness. Maybe your emotions are like tiny beings living within you, each with their own voice and way of expressing themselves, and your mission is to learn their language so you can communicate with them effectively rather than being controlled by them. We all inevitably face criticism. So, how do we, with our tender hearts, navigate these often turbulent waters? Reality dictates that there's a vast difference between constructive criticism, which aims to help you grow and improve, and destructive criticism, which is solely intended to hurt and diminish your self-worth. Constructive criticism is like an honest mirror reflecting yourself clearly so you can identify areas that need attention. Destructive criticism, however, is like someone just throwing rocks at you without any intention of building or improving anything. As a sensitive person, your task is to distinguish between the mirror and the rocks. Constructive criticism can be an opportunity for growth and development. Imagine someone pointing out a mistake on your path to prevent you from stumbling. Destructive criticism, on the other hand, is best ignored lest it break your heart. Perhaps criticism is a form of challenge that the universe sends your way to test your strength and resilience. And with each challenge you overcome, your level increases and your ability to endure strengthens. Finally, how do we protect ourselves from emotional exhaustion, especially when we feel everything so intensely? Reality underscores the importance of setting healthy boundaries in our relationships. We don't have to absorb every negative energy, every complaint, and every drama from everyone around us. Our emotional energy is finite, and we need to conserve it. Practicing self-care is also crucial, engaging in activities we enjoy, that relax us, and that replenish our energy. Taking breaks and disconnecting from external stimuli is vital. And, as much as possible, we should avoid situations and people who drain our emotional reserves like psychological vampires. Imagine your emotional energy as your phone battery. If you run all the apps simultaneously, the battery will drain quickly. You need to close unnecessary apps and recharge regularly. Or perhaps it's like a garden that needs constant care, watering, and nurturing to remain vibrant and flourishing. Neglect it, and it will wither and die. Maybe emotional exhaustion is a type of energy vampire that comes at night and sucks away your vitality while you sleep. Your mission is to build an energy shield around yourself to protect it. Throughout history, there have been numerous sensitive yet successful figures who managed to transform their sensitivity into a source of strength and achievement. Artists who conveyed the deepest emotions in their work, touching the hearts of millions. Writers who crafted timeless stories and novels thanks to their profound understanding of the human psyche. Inspiring leaders who empathized with their people and guided them toward a better future. Their sensitivity wasn't a hindrance. On the contrary, it was their key to success and influence. Imagine sensitivity as the secret ingredient behind their creativity and impact, a hidden superpower that granted them insight and the ability to touch the hearts of others. Perhaps there's a secret society of sensitive celebrities who use their heightened awareness to communicate telepathically and influence the world in subtle ways. In conclusion, whether you identify as highly sensitive or feel a profound connection to spiritual energies, the most crucial thing is to understand yourself, value your emotions, and protect your well-being. Sensitivity is neither an absolute weakness nor an absolute strength. It's an integral part of our human nature, and how we choose to navigate it ultimately shapes our destiny. So, embrace your kind heart with open arms and learn to channel your sensitivity in the right direction.